Story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's 4 p.m. local time now. Thank you for joining us again on the CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the stories we're filing at this time. The House of Representatives resumed on Tuesday with a number of members defecting from one party to another. Speaker Aminu Tambuwal read all the letters of defection at the plenary. 5 lawmakers from Ogun State, including Olumide Oshoba, moved from the All Progressive Congress to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. APC, however, gained 4 members who joined the party from the People's Democratic Party. They include Herman Hembe of Benue, Adams Jagaba of Kaduna, Issa Muhammad Adamawa, and Ibrahim El Sudi Taraba. The People's Democratic Party movement, however, gained its first legislator with the defection of Aisha Ahmed Dahiru of Adamawa from the PDP. Now, Nigeria's independent online newspaper, the Cable newspaper, reports that the governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, has revived his hopes of getting the vice presidential ticket of the All Progressive Congress. He has launched a last-minute move to dislodge Bola Tinubu, former governor of Lagos, who had looked all set to fill the slot. Backed by Bukola Saraki, former governor of Kwara State, as well as some APC governors, opposed the candidature of Tinubu. Amechi called the enlarged meeting of the party's leadership in Abuja on Monday night to reset the entire selection process. The opposition to Tinubu is based on the need to avoid a Muslim ticket, an argument that will also knock out Babatunde Fashola, the governor of Lagos, who, according to the Cable, is well loved in many parts of Nigeria. Tinubu is also being opposed on the basis of his past, even though his supporters argue that there is no case against him and neither has he been convicted in any court of law. Muhammadu Buhari, the presidential candidate of the party, had ceded the choice of his running mate to Tinubu as the political leader of Southwest, which is the second largest voting bloc in the country. In his calculations, Buhari had sought to avoid the mistakes he made in the past, where he picked his running mates all by himself. Amechi, who had been the biggest financier of the Buhari bid, had been left in the lurch, but his maneuvers in Abuja on Monday night may change the course of events. Not only has it changed the direction of the discussion, other southern zones are now making a strong case for the VP slot. The Southeast, which had initially been written off as a no-go area for Buhari, is now asking to be considered, with former ANPP chairman Obunaya Onu, former Anambra State Governor Chris Ngige, and Governor of Imo State Rocha Sokorocha being given a look in. The enlarged meeting has now pushed the decision back to Buhari to make by himself in what will potentially put the former head of state in a tight corner. Now, a federal high court in Abuja has turned down an ex-party application seeking to restrain Aminu Tambuwal from parading himself as Speaker of the House of Representatives after his defection from the People's Democratic Party. The motion was filed by a member of the House of Representatives, Abiodun Akinlade, who urged the court to stop Tambuwal from parading himself as Speaker, pending the termination of the suit challenging his continued stay in office. Justice Ahmed Mohammed, however, advised the plaintiff to put the Speaker and other defendants in the matter a notice rather than grant his application. He noted that it would not be fair to grant a restraining order through an ex-party application before the determination of the substantive suit. The federal lawmaker is seeking a judicial interpretation of an earlier judgment by Justice Evochukwu, also of the Federal High Court in Abuja, who held that there was no division in the PDP. The Adamawa State PDP ESCO stakeholders and supporters have dissociated themselves from the announcement of Nuhu Ribadu as the governorship candidate of the PDP in the state. The ESCO, an aspirant, insisted that the only legal primaries held in the state was that of the State House of Assembly. They call on the National Working Committee of the PDP to cancel the primaries held in Abuja, which they say contravenes the court orders and electoral act. They ask for a fresh conduct of the National Assembly and the governorship primaries as provided for in the law.
And because of what they have done, it is not me, it is not the aspirant, but the people of Adamawa will tell them what they have done for the people is wrong. What we are doing here, we are just liaising between the National Secretariat and the supporters of PDP in Adamawa State. We have been telling them what you are doing is wrong. Come home and talk to your relatives.
I want to tell you that in the next 48 hours, you will see us in action at Wadaka House in Abuja. We will go and show our dislike for the illegalities that is being put on Adamawa State.
If before in 1999 or 2003 or 2011 or 2007, PDP could afford to neglect certain states, I can tell you now they cannot. The indices are clear. PDP is in trouble. Adamawa State is regarded as a battlefield. Listen, it's not given to PDP anymore, a traditional PDP state. So that is the justice. So ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. We as a party have problems.
Speaking on behalf of the state governor, Senator Abubakar Girey says the state governor, Bala James Igilari, is still a governorship aspirant and has not resorted to the senatorial context of the Adamawa North as reported in some quarters.
Authority of His Excellency the Governor of Adamawa State, Bala James Igilari, to say without fear of contradiction that the issue you have raised is nothing but a mere rumor. On the other aspect of the aspirants, my colleague has stated our position. But let me also state that we will leave no option unturned. We are considering several options. And by the grace of God, at the end of the day, we shall emerge victorious. Thank you very much.
Governor has not attended the illegal primaries at all. Governor attended the convention where Mr. President is nominated, but he has not and never attended what they call primaries. The question of the governor taking what we call it senatorial or not senatorial is his personal feeling.
The gale of defection sweeping through the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State as a result of the outcome of the governorship primaries of the party has once again led to the departure of a former leading candidate in the party, Seyi Makinde, to the Social Democratic Party. The candidate gave reasons why he left the party.
Our people still believe in democracy, fairness, level playing field, and justice for all. However, it is impossible to realize this objective in a party that has proved repeatedly that it is an antithesis of this same belief. It is in the light of this, after fruitless efforts to ensure that free and fair election prevails within PDP and witnessing the yearnings of the ordinary people of Oyo State, that are asking for change for the reduction of poverty due to poor governance. I find it extremely difficult to shy away from this popular demand to make a difference in the lives of our people. Based on the work that my team and I have put into the campaign to ensure change comes to Oyo State.
And now to Ekiti, where the state governor, Ayodele Fayose, has presented a budget for the 2015 financial year to Ekiti State House of Assembly. The over 80 billion naira budget, Christian budget of reality, had 60% for recurrent and 40% for capital expenditures. The presentation of the budget by the governor was, however, done behind closed door as journalists were barred from covering the event. The 19 APC legislators were also absent at the presentation. Our correspondent, Rashid, has more.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly was again brought under the clear light as Governor Ayodele Fayose arrived to present the 2015 budget. His presence notwithstanding, journalists were barred from covering the presentation, while the 19 APC lawmakers were also absent at the occasion. The 80.77 billion naira budget of reality have 48.7 billion naira as recurrent expenditure and 31.9 billion naira for capital expenditure. The provision for 5 billion naira loan in the budget is a direct contradiction of one of the promises of Fayose not to go a-borrowing. He, however, defends his position.
That I said that we will not borrow should not be misinterpreted. If you borrow, you must pay within your government, within your tenure. You must, whatever you take as a loan, must be paid within your tenure, so that you do not end up in financial recklessness for people coming behind you.
The speaker designated, Dele Olugbemi, explains the absence of the 19 APC lawmakers at the occasion.
You get about the 19 because the place was flooded with men and women of caliber, the traditional rulers, the chiefs, the Yalajas and the Yalajas. I don't know, maybe you have their pictures of which you can show that they are conspicuously absent, because that has been your responses in the past. I am sorry. And even the law does not, even presentation doesn't require any number. Go and see what the Constitution says. He said the governor's side presents, and he has come here legally based on how the Constitution spelled it out, that he must be in the assembly to present. Here is not talking about 18, here is not talking about majority, here is not talking about minority, here is not talking about a specific numbers of legislators that should be present.
The leader of government business, Samuel Ajibola, however, denies that journalists were barred from covering the proceedings on the floor of the House.
I don't know that. That is not my duty. My duty is not to allow a press man in or not. So I'm a press person. But I know we have about 4 or 5 cameras inside there. So I wouldn't have known which camera is disallowed or which is not.
The budget has been subjected to the scrutiny of committees for further deliberations. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Nigeria's Petroleum Resources Minister Diziani Alice Madueke was Tuesday appointed president of the gas exporting countries forum at its 16th ministerial meeting holding at the Qatari capital city of Doha. The minister, who was a few days back appointed president of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, is not attending the meeting because she is deeply involved in negotiations with Nigeria's 2 main oil workers' unions, Pengasin and Nupeng, who Monday embarked on strike over a long list of demands, which includes the adoption of the delayed petroleum industry bill aimed at overhauling the sector and maintenance work on oil refineries. Nigeria's ambassador to Qatar, Shuaibu Ahmadu Ahmed, and NNPC Group Executive Director Gas and Power, David Ige, are representing Alice Madueke at the forum. The GCF was founded in 2001 in the Iranian capital Tehran, and its member state control over 70% of the world's natural gas reserves, as well as more than 80% of the liquefied natural gas production. The forum is a multi-layered and an intergovernmental organization of the world's leading natural gas producers, comprising Algeria, Bolivia, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Iran, Libya, Nigeria, Oman, Qatar, Russia, Trinidad and Tobago, United Arab Emirates, and Venezuela. Kazakhstan, Iraq, the Netherlands, and Norway have the status of observer members. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory woke up on Monday to see long lines of vehicles in virtually all filling stations in the capital city. Motorists told CoreTV News that they had to spend longer time on queue before getting the commodity, which in less than 24 hours before was available. Although the scarcity has not affected transport fare, commuters are already bearing the brunt of the situation as they spend longer times waiting for cabs and buses which are waiting for their turns at petrol stations. The manager at one of the stations said they had to sell the stock available with them in order to help in reducing the long queues. The people are, however, hopeful that government and the aggrieved oil workers will reach an understanding before the situation gets worse in the run-up to the festive season. Unlike Abuja, the oil workers' strike has not taken any negative effects on Lagos. The General Secretary of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Adebayo Olowoshile, has, however, described the development as a necessary evil. He asks Nigerians to bear the pain of the oil workers' strike for now in order to avoid future damage on the country's economy. Our correspondent Omotayo Alo tells us more.
Stating the oil workers' reason for embarking on the strike, Olowoshile says the federal government has done badly in maintaining the sector that generates major income for the country.
This is time for us to correct the ease before we go to 2015. So we don't want it to be that we wait until the Christmas is still close to corner, but we believe that time is now. We had our meeting October 31st, 2014, and we immediately served government on these grievance issues. Let us sit down and talk. November 10, we had meeting, no headway. November 18, we had meeting, no headway. December 9, we had meeting, no headway. Where is the commitment? And that is the problem that we have now.
In what appears a bargaining tool in the face of an electioneering year, and at a period Nigerians look forward to celebrate the upcoming festive period at ease, Olowoshile rules out any ulterior motive for the strike.
It's not about politics. It's about the fact that every Nigerians know that oil and gas industry in Nigeria can do as better as any other country's oil and gas sector. So we want our country, we are a monolithic economy. And the question is that if there is a problem within the industry, it is going to have far-reaching effect on the entire economy. And we don't want to be held responsible for that because we are a key stakeholder. We have strategic responsibility to ensure that we make this industry to do better than what it is doing now.
Motorists who spoke on the development have expressed disappointment at the timing of the strike and called on the oil workers to come to the round table with the federal government in order to avert unnecessary hardship on the people.
It's not a good idea at all because it's going to affect the whole of the festive period. People are going to suffer a lot because people are traveling, people want to have fun and all that. I don't think it's a good idea.
Not now they're supposed to be going on strike. Even if they should go on strike or if they want to negotiate for anything, it shouldn't be at this time.
If they should strike at this time, they are putting more fire into Nigeria problem.
Petrol stations in Lagos are yet to feel the impact of the strike, as at Monday when CoreTV News visited them. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more stories after this timeout. Join us again.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
You can also reach us on our social media platform. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can log on to our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. Our YouTube is youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. President Goodluck Jonathan has re-echoed his call for stronger and more effective regional, continental and global alliance to rid the West African sub-region of terrorism, piracy and violent extremism. Jonathan made the call in his welcome address at the 46th Ordinance Section of the Authority of ECOWAS Head of State and Government in Abuja. He says the West African sub-region had recorded some achievements in democracy and economic growth, but admits that security and public health challenges are still rife.
Your Excellencies, while acknowledging that most achievements may have been recorded in the area of democracy and economic growth, we must also admit that our sub-region continues to face many serious challenges. Prominent among these challenges before us today is the ravaging Ebola epidemic. The last 6 months have witnessed the negative impact of the Ebola virus disease in the region. Since its outbreak in March This year, the disease has resulted in over 7,000 deaths, apart from negatively impacting our economies.
Since over the past few years, we have all witnessed what the clarity of your shared vision, your sense of solidarity, and force of your individual and collective determination have enabled us achieve. I am convinced that these qualities, which are more real than ever today, than ever will, at the end of your discussions, enable us find the best way of applying your decisions on the fight against the Ebola virus disease in complete solidarity.
The police authorities are now to consider junior officers with university degrees for promotion to senior ranks. A circular to that effect was issued on December 15 to all commands and formations across the country. Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba directed that names of all 7 inspectors and rank and file with degrees and other tertiary qualifications be compiled for processing. Holders of HND, OND, and NCE are also to be considered for promotion. The heat over the revelation by defeated Lagos PDP governorship aspirant Musiliu Obanikoro that the party has a sinister motive behind the establishment of the subsidiary investment and empowerment program Federal Task Force is on. The immediate past former Minister of State for Defense had claimed after his loss at the primary that the Shopee Federal Task Force was being used by the leaders of the PDP to perpetuate electoral violence in Lagos, especially at the 2015 general elections. A correspondent to Luwashi Adigoke met with the spokesperson of the APC and PDP in the state and filing these reports.
Before now, there has been controversy over the establishment of the famous Shopee Task Force in Lagos. The operational base of the task force was thrown into total confusion last July over an incident involving one of its personnel and a team of the Lagos State Special Task Force on the environment. The scene was better imagined. Things later returned to normal after this near-bloody clash. But it appears this bombshell by Obanikoro have begun to send some signals to the operators and their fresh recruits, as the base of the Shopee Task Force on the tollgate end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway looks nearly deserted when CoreTV News visited as an attempt to speak to those on ground was rebuffed. The All Progressives Congress, which had asked the Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, to investigate Obanikoro's claim, insists the agency is established by the PDP to train political thugs ahead the 2015 elections.
You know, Shopee is a federal government thing, and it's supposed to be for everybody. But the share of Lagos is being taken up by PDP. In fact, it has been taken up by PDP. They have been registering people, we don't know the number they have now. And their target is to use them during the elections as voters and as thugs. You see, we have seen it before. During the time when Ogulewo was the Minister for Works. Ogulewo was the Minister for Works. They trained these people, unleashed them on the streets of Lagos, and there was war between them and last man. And many people died. Many were maimed and injured. This time they said that APC has been leveraging on LASMA, Lawma, Kai. Let them set out their own outfit. That was why this Shopee thing came up. They want to create their own squad, create jobs for people so that when elections come, they will vote for them. It's strictly for PDP. Why Shopee is supposed to be for everybody. They made it exclusively for PDP and to use it for elections and election purposes.
Trust the PDP not to lie low over what it considered an unsubstantiated claim. The publicity secretary of the party in Lagos, Gani Taufik, says the APC is always quick to jump into conclusion and wanting to make a mountain out of a mole.
We are not surprised that APC is again blackmailing the federal government by accusing it of setting up FEMA to perpetrate violence during elections. This is because the APC has become very notorious for accusing and maligning federal government agencies that have refused to be compromised by them. We hear APC condemn police, condemn the Nigerian army, condemn INEC, condemn any federal government agency only when that agency or the officer controlling the agency has refused to be compromised by them. People are employed to carry out legitimate functions of federal government, but rather than the APC to be progressive in that regard, they are being reactionary. They are paranoid because, of course, they know that Lagosians are already disenchanted with them.
The last definitely is yet to be heard, even as Obanikoro maintained that officials of the task force were hired by a leader of the PDP in the state, Bode George, to perpetrate violence at the governorship primary. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And it's a wrap on CoreTV News at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye for now.